News from Nowhere, 1890, is a thought-provoking political novel by William Morris, a writer, translator, and activist known for his socialist beliefs. The narrative is presented through the perspective of William Guest, a socialist who, after attending a Socialist League meeting, awakens in a future world where socialism has triumphed. This utopian society showcases the success of various socialist principles, including common ownership of resources and collective control of the means of production. In this utopia, private property, dense urban areas, centralized authority, financial systems, courts, jails, classes, and social institutions like divorce have all been eliminated. Instead, the society is primarily agrarian, with the people deeply connected to the natural world, finding intrinsic meaning and fulfillment in their work. The novel is celebrated for its imaginative fusion of Marxism and the Romantic literary tradition, portraying the narrator as a fantastical figure transported from Victorian England. One evening, after a public Socialist League meeting, the narrator, William Guest, takes a train home to Hammersmith, a London suburb. Exhausted, he falls into a deep slumber and wakes up refreshed by the Thames River. To his astonishment, he discovers that the industrial landscape has been transformed into a serene pastoral setting. Here, he meets a boatman named Dick, dressed in a charming 14th-century style attire, and begins to question him, realizing that he has been transported to 21st-century England. As Guest explores this future London with Dick, he learns that traditional institutions like jails and schools have been replaced with liberal principles of social reform and a free-roaming childhood. He is also surprised to encounter Dick's ex-wife, Clara, and witnesses their enduring love, despite having separated for the sake of their individuality. News from Nowhere paints a compelling vision of a socialist utopia, challenging the societal norms and structures of the Victorian era while inspiring readers to ponder the possibilities of a more equitable and harmonious future society. As Guest delves deeper into the social transformations that led to the current state of London, he learns that it was achieved through a revolution led by the proletariat. Clara and Dick invite Guest to stay at the guest house that night, and the next morning, they embark on a boat trip up the Thames, heading towards Oxford to assist with hay harvesting. Along the way, they visit a Tudor palace turned into a museum and spend a night at the home of an elderly man in Runnymede, who yearns for the excitement of the past. During their journey, they stop at Walter Allen's place, where they learn about a nearby argument that ended in a murder. The group then meets an old man named Henry Moorsom in Wallingford. Ellen, the elderly man's daughter from the previous night, surprises them by following their boat along the river. Guest decides to ride with Ellen, while Dick and Clara continue in their boat. As they sail, Ellen asks Guest about his life in the 19th century and the natural history of the Thames. Eventually, they reach the northern part of the Thames, where they meet fellow hay harvesters. Ellen takes Guest to an old stone building with a simple yet remarkable design, where they appreciate the beauty of its minimalism. Guest contemplates the profound changes that have shaped England over time, while Ellen finds joy in her connection with nature and the cyclic rhythm of life. Later, they share a lovely dinner with the hay harvesters in a church adorned with an abundance of flowers. Suddenly, Guest experiences horror as he realizes that Ellen, Dick, and Clara can no longer see him. Confused, he leaves the church and encounters a dying old man on the road. A dark fog envelopes him, and when it dissipates, he finds himself back in his house in the 19th century. Reflecting on his strange experience, Guest recognizes that it had the qualities of a vivid vision or dream. Naming the realm of his visionary experience Nowhere, the protagonist becomes determined to impart the ideals he witnessed to his contemporaries. The utopian concepts, rooted in socialist ideologies, are framed as an epiphany or prophetic revelation in News from Nowhere, appealing to the religious sentiments prevalent during its time of publication. By presenting the possibilities of socialism through a descriptive narrative, the novel makes the political stance more accessible to a broader audience, bridging the gap for those who might have otherwise dismissed Morris's ideology. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.